Chapter 52. Great Formation in the Cave. For something like this to happen, this was undoubtedly a heavy blow to the Lin family. If Lin Beixing came back and found out about this outcome, he would definitely go crazy. The elders present were undoubtedly the most responsible. After all, they hadn't guarded the Lin family well. So the atmosphere in the hall was a little heavy at the moment, and no one made a sound. This person was actually able to infiltrate the Lin family silently and kill a dozen people before leaving peacefully. Either he is incomparably strong, or he is a top assassin proficient in assassination. A Lin family elder finally broke the silence. His face was very heavy. A few of these corpses lived next door to him, but he hadn't spotted the assassin, which had hit him hard. Several other elders were silent at his words. Their mood was the same as this elder. The assassin had killed people under their noses, but it was as if he was in no man's land. His methods were truly heavenly. Cough. Suddenly, a cough attracted all the Lin family elders present. The source of the sound was a white-haired old man. He was the grand elder of the Lin family, and the only one in the Lin family who was strong at the 9th level of the foundation establishment. His strength was second only to the Lin Beixing, who was at the Jidan stage, and he had a high prestige in the Lin family. The crowd couldn't help but look at the grand elder. Their faces were a little strange, because even the 9th level foundation establishment grand elder, no one had spotted the assassin. The Lin family's grand elder swept his gaze across the hall, his deep gaze taking in everyone's expressions as he comforted the crowd. You don't have to worry. The assassin is too strong. Even if you discover his whereabouts, you won't be able to stop him. The family head won't blame you. The crowd was silent at his words. One elder asked curiously, Grand Elder, do you know the identity of the assassin? The crowd all looked at the Grand Elder upon hearing this. They also wanted to know who exactly had such a great through-and-through ability. The Grand Elder sighed slightly and said, in Heavy Iron City, anyone who can have such strength and have such a great hatred with my Lin family, besides Wang Tixiong and Kang Qian, who else could it be? The elders were shocked when they heard this, and upon careful consideration, wasn't that exactly the case? From the object that the assassins had assassinated, as well as their strength, only Wang Tixiong and Kang Qian, who had such a deep hatred with them, fit the bill. Not long ago, a Wang family subordinate came to report that Kang Qian had killed his way into the Wang family. For this reason, the Grand Duke hurriedly moved to notify the family head. Now it seems that this is the tiger leaving the mountain plan. I'm afraid that the family head is still over at the Wang residence right now. Where does he care about the Lin family? An elder said in a deep voice. They were not idiots, and had already vaguely guessed Wang Tixiong and Kang Qian's plan. If the family master was able to kill Kang Qian, this time it would be considered a lose-lose situation. If he didn't kill Kang Qian, then this time it's really a disaster for the Lin family. I'm afraid the family master will go crazy. The Grand Elder's face was full of worry. He was very jealous of Kang Qian, now that something like this had happened to the Lin family. If he still couldn't behead Kang Qian, then it would really make the entire Heavy Iron City cultivators laugh. Wang Tixiong, come and die. Right at this moment, an angry roar came from the sky, and the loud voice spread throughout the entire Lin family. In the dark sky, a green light asterisk 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 came, and Lin Beixing stood on top of the flying sword, roaring angrily. His face was filled with anxiety, worried that Wang Tixiong would go on a killing spree in the Lin family. The family head has returned. The faces of the Lin family elders sank as he didn't know how to face Lin Beixing. It was still the Grand Elder who calmly stepped forward and said to the crowd, let's go. We must inform the family master immediately of such a big event. 9th Elder, you rush to gather all the family experts. If I am not wrong, the family master will definitely go to take revenge on them immediately after he learnt about what happened. The 9th Elder retreated at his words, and the Grand Elder led the others forward to meet Lin Beixing's wrath. At the back of the royal mansion's mountain, Outside the grey stone cave, a figure gazed out at the material jungle in the distance. This was Kangchon. Kangchon looked a little anxious at the moment, looking towards the dark jungle in the distance with a face full of worry. Only after a pale figure leapt out of the jungle did he reveal a joyful look and greeted him with large strides. "Grandpa, how's it going?" Kangchon asked with a smile. The person who came was none other than his grandpa Wang Tixiong. "Everything went well. What do you see here?" Wang Tixiong heatedly smiled and lifted a round-shaped black object in his hand, and a pungent smell of blood came out. Kangchon looked in surprise and couldn't help but stare in disbelief. This was actually a bloody head, and it was also the head of Lin Beixian's grandson, Lin Zhuan. Now Lin Beixian should go crazy. Kangchon laughed out loud. "It's also time for him to taste the taste of losing a loved one," Wang Tixiong said in a cold voice. Throwing away Lin Zhuan's head, Kangchon and Wang Tixiong entered the stone cave to discuss their next plan. Both of them decided that they must be careful for this period of time, because now Lin Beixian must have gone crazy and would definitely send out all the Lin families, children to look for them. For this period of time, we will stay inside the stone cave. Let little gold go out to look for food. It will be fine even if it is discovered by the Lin family. Wang Tixiong said. Little gold was very strong and did not need them to worry at all. Kangchon nodded and said, "It's just the right time to close the door and cultivate for a while." The two of them successively sunk their hearts into the dantian and entered into cultivation. In the stone cave, Kangchon's heart sank into his dantian and began to consolidate his cultivation. Tonight, his cultivation had been raised too much, and at this moment, when his mind was immersed in his dantian, he immediately found that the true qi within his dantian was a little unstable, and the mobilization of it was not as smooth as it used to be. Obviously, the increase of true qi within the dantian was too much, and Kangchon was unable to fully control such a powerful true qi for a while, and needed some time to adapt. With his cultivation at the 9th level of foundation establishment, the meridians in Kangchon's body were already very wide, just like a long river with surging true qi flowing inside. Looking incomparably spectacular, Kangchon's heart sank into his dantian, and he transported the heart technique of Heavenly Canon, a technique that he had only cultivated up to the part of the Jiden stage, and at the moment he had cultivated up to the 9th level of foundation establishment, and he could already begin to delve into the part of the Jiden stage. The so-called Jiden stage was actually refining the true qi in his body into true essence, then condensing an inner Dan and using it to communicate with the heavenly Tao, before he could enter the next step of cultivation. True yuan and true qi were the same power into different forms. To put it simply, true qi was a gaseous energy, while true essence was a liquid energy formed by the compression of a huge amount of true qi. The same amount of true essence contained more than 100 times the energy of true qi, which was why Jiden stage powerhouses gave foundation establishment stage cultivators a myth of invincibility. Only by stepping into the Jiden stage could one truly be considered to have entered the hall of cultivators. Kangchon wanted to do now was to store the true qi in his body's meridians and then compress it step by step, so that the quality of the true qi would increase, and then finally form the true essence, and then condense the inner Dan. These looked easy, but it was very hard to do, knowing that every compression of true qi would bring great pain to the meridians, and without strong perseverance it would be very difficult to succeed. Kangchon's grandfather, Wang Tixiong, had long ago reached the peak of the 9th level of foundation establishment, but today he had only succeeded in compressing it 3 times, and there was still a long way to go to transform the 3 levels of true qi in his body into true essence. Of course, if there were enough yuan returning Dan, it would be much easier for Kangchon to cultivate. But unfortunately, right now, he didn't have that many materials to refine yuan returning Dan, and he didn't even have some ordinary pills, so he could only rely on his own cultivation. While Kangchon was in the middle of his cultivation, the entire heavy iron city was already in a state of chaos. Countless Lin family experts were out in force, converging towards the back of the Wangfu mountain, and this great commotion caused everyone to boil. This was destined to be a sleepless night. At the back of the mountain of the royal mansion, Lin Beishan and Lin Wei looked at the dark mountains and forests with angry faces. Behind them, a group of Lin family experts, holding torches, stood with gloomy faces. "Make a move, burn these two beasts out for me. I'll leave them with no bones left," Lin Beishan shouted at the group of Lin family experts behind him. Lin Beishan was very angry at the moment. Wang Tixiong had killed all of his first bloodline. Now he only had Lin Wei as his son left. How could this not make him angry? He was going crazy. Under the command of a group of Lin family elders, they dumped the oil barrels amongst the trees at the back of the mountain and then lit a fire. The flames danced with the wind and spread upwards. Instantly, there was a huge fire. The entire darkness of the night turned into day in an instant. Hiss! In the distance, countless heavy iron city cultivators who were watching all sucked in a breath of cool air. This Lin Beishan was going crazy. He actually set fire to the back of the mountain. As the fire was blown up by the wind, the shocking fire was like a monstrous wave in the ocean, covering towards the back mountain. At the same time, a house at the foot of the back mountain was also burned up by the fire, and many of the residents died in the sea of flames before they could escape. Lin Wei coldly watched this scene. Originally, he had planned to set the mountain on fire, only after informing these people to relocate. But the plan couldn't catch up with the change. He no longer cared about these people's deaths, as long as he was able to kill Wang Tixiong and Kangchon. In the sky, Lin Beishan stepped on his flying sword and stared closely at the sea of fire in front of him. The trees in the back of the mountain were very lush, and when the fire came together, it instantly spread out in all directions, instantly turning the entire back of the mountain into a sea of fire. And what made Lin Beishan happy was that the wind tonight was very favorable to them, directly blowing the fire towards the top of the mountain. I'm afraid that it wouldn't take long to burn up the entire back mountain. This time, I'll see where you guys can still hide, Lin Beishan sneered in his heart. At the back of the mountain, as the fire burned, a beast was startled, and they ran backwards in panic, away from the sea of fire that pounced on them. Thud, thud, thud. Countless wild beasts ran like 1,000 horses galloping, and the entire back mountain was shaken. Wang Tixiong and Kangchon, who were caught up in their cultivation in the stone cave, were instantly awakened, and the two of them glanced at each other, revealing puzzled looks. Z. Right at this moment, Little Gold ran over, squeaked at Kangchon, and pulled Kangchon towards the outside. What the hell is going on here? Kangchon and Wang Tixiong were very puzzled. The two of them went out of the stone cave and looked towards the distance, but it was a continuous sea of fire. The hot waves of fire poured out, suffocating people. At this time, the moon was still hanging in the sky, but the dark night turned into a long day. The two of them, Wang Tixiong and Kangchon, were dumbfounded and looked at this scene with shock on their faces. What to do? The fire is burning too fast. We can't escape at all. And even if we do, there's still Lin Beishan waiting for us. Kangchon was in a big hurry. He was still young after all. When he saw such a situation, a look of panic appeared in his eyes immediately. Wang Tixiong was calm after all, he said with an ugly face. Lin Beishan really went crazy this time. He burned the back mountain. I'm afraid that he even involved those residents who live near the back mountain. Once the city lord comes back, he will definitely not be lightly spared. Z. Xiaojin shouted anxiously. Wang Tixiong and Kangchon couldn't think of any escape plan for a while. Kid, the only way to enter the stone cave at a time of crisis is to enter the cave first, and then seek a strategy to escape. Emperor Dan's voice sounded in Kangchon's mind. Kangchon's eyes lit up at the words, and he hurriedly pulled grandfather and little gold into the stone cave. As soon as he entered the stone cave, he waved his fists and blasted towards the entrance of the cave. And instantly, countless pieces of debris fell, gradually blocking the entrance of the cave. This way, we are also trapped in the cave, and when the fire is over, if we are going out, we will definitely be discovered by Lin Beishan and the others, Wang Tixiong said in a deep voice.